With more buyers on the sideline, how should we go about finding serious cash buyers in today's climate?
Yeah, I think I mentioned this last week. Look, all I'm doing right now is we're aggregating cash buyer data, retail buyer data. So not just having a dependency on quote unquote cash buyers. Buyers are buyers, period. You know, the thing about a retail buyer, and they have a lot of interest to me in my business right now, is that a cash buyer, they have a requirement of equity and profit when they purchase a piece of property in some capacity. Retail buyers are traditionally conditioned to when they go to buy a property, they're buying it at whatever the market value of the property is at that particular time. And so, with prices still not getting low enough on the buy side, we're seeing a lot of success marketing out to retail buyers in our market. And in many ways, like shout out to Eric with Novations, it's the same exact thought process, right? It's like, why are you not going after more retail oriented buyers? They're going to pay more for the property and they don't need to capture profit and equity.
All right, let's go to Eric Brewer. Your thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, I think the big gap is right now that you're seeing most buyers or active buyers have been paying cash the last 2 years. They're seeing interest rates. They're unsure about how it's going to impact their flip 3 or 4 months down the road. And most cash buyers on people's buyers list have either stopped buying until they get a better sense of what to expect, or they're just drastically lowering their offers. If you're not selling to retail buyers right now, to Chris's point, you're probably seeing a significant reduction in your volume. And the only way to also either to figure out how to buy every property another 20-30% lower, or you have to be able to go out and sell it to a retail buyer. Getting deals to the MLS in front of retail buyers is the new way of doing business. When we talk about it, we call it wholesaling 2.0. Trying to find cash buyers the old-fashioned way is not working.
All right, Boss Man, your thoughts?
Yeah, I think there's 4 different ways you can go find cash buyers today, right? I think first, if you're a licensed realtor, you just go into the tax records. You just look up cash transactions. Go to Investor Lift, right? That's our sister company. You can get Buyer Sonar. That's ran by Audantic, our friends Chris Richter. Or you go with PropStream. Like, I don't think it's hard to find the cash buyers, right? If that's what you're truly looking for. Question is whether you can convince them to buy today, right? And I think that's what we're talking about. Something we rolled out very recently is the disposition sales training, right? Having real conversations about what the buyer truly wants. So I think finding the cash buyers isn't hard. It's convincing them why they should work with you. And then to Chris and Eric's point, right? We would not be doing as well as we are today, and well is, kind of loosely defined here, if not for innovations. So, shout out to Eric Brewer, Brewer Method, whatever you can do to get a property on the MLS, you're much better off going to MLS than trying to sell it to a cash buyer.
All right, and Leon, bring us home on this question.
Yeah, this is my answer last week was you have to find a way to get that to the MLS. Retail buyers, the question was about buyers, cash buyers being on the sidelines. Well, guess who the last 2 years spent time on the bench and are now looking to get in the game? A lot of retail buyers that missed because there were 10 and 15 offers on an asset that they wanted to call home. They didn't care that they had to do work to that asset. So if you're not great at negotiations today, maybe you've only been in the business for a couple of years and you haven't had to get deep with sales, that purchase or that contract was a deal 9 months ago to a cash buyer. Well, it's no longer a deal to a cash buyer, but it can be a deal to a retail buyer.
I'm going to give you all some free game right now.
Spit it.
Leon's point, I'm going to tell you specifically the group of buyers who have been unable to participate in real estate buying the last 2 years. FHA, VA, USDA borrower that needs between 3 to 6% seller's help and has either 0 or 3.5% down. There's not a seller, an agent, anybody that would have advised their seller or client to even consider any of those transactions the last 2 years because no one needed to accept FHA finance because everybody was converting to either cash or conventional. So when you can take your deal and get it in front of an FHA, VA, USDA borrower that needs full seller's help and has probably less than 5% down, that is who will pay the most for a property in today's market because they have been out on the outside looking in for the last 2 years.
To the analogy that we used last week, we've been so focused on the needle, the cash buyer, that we've just said, you know, we don't need all the other haystack. Now it's, I need to go out and find all those people that have been sitting on the sidelines, to Eric's point, those that missed out on every single deal the last 2 years. They don't mind doing a little work because a lot of those properties that investors were selling, they were just cleaned out and not flipped. They needed work. So they're not against doing that work, and they want a home. And if it's an FHA, more than likely with seller concessions, it's going to be affordable and it makes sense for them. That's the person. They're not on any list. We talked about this last week. They're not on a cash buyer list yet because they haven't made a purchase. That's the top end. That's still a deal for them.
Right. The voting is open right now, and it looks like there is a tie between CJ and Steve. So any last points you guys want to try to make really quickly before the voting closes out?
I think the big thing is just, again, to what everyone else is saying here, it's asking the right questions, right? Like the cash buyers is not your priority right now. And everyone else here said this. It's finding a way to sell it to a retail buyer. So one thing that Leon and I, we got a chance to hang out in LA at an event, and the guy talked about, like, in every single run-up, it's all cash buyers. Once the run-up's done, it's all government loans, right? It's what Eric said, USDA, VA, FHA. Govy loans is the loans that get done in a slower market. In a good market, it's cash and conventional. So all those people that have been on the sidelines, they're the ones
to answer their question, right, Steve, you just gave a great point there. To answer their question, where can you find those? I'm guessing that buyer agents know of people that have been sitting on the sidelines that are looking to be put in the game, Coach.
Yeah, buyer agents, and we were talking about last week, loan officers.
Yeah, if you go back and look, right, like I'm in like different real estate Facebook or realtor Facebook groups, like in my markets, right? One of the big conversations they've been complaining and having over the last 2 years is about how hard it was to get buyers opportunities to actually own a home, right? People are in bidding wars, people are overpaying, over asking, all these different things. The guys, the agents have the relationships with the buyers that are looking to purchase homes. When somebody wants to buy a house, the regular person, the 9 to 5, right? It's not in real estate investing. Their initial thought generally is, I need to contact a real estate agent. Not, I need to see what the local wholesaler has available in inventory. They don't even know what wholesaling is. Go build some relationships with local realtors, get in their pocket, massage those relationships a little bit, and they're going to bring buyers to you that you can do business with and you can sell your deals to. And I think, Steve, you said it. You can target out people that are willing to do a little bit of work at the same time as well and make really good money.
Yeah, and exactly to what you're saying. Like, most buyers will look to go get a realtor. There's a reason why so many investors, wholesalers became licensed. Like, I need to become a licensed real estate agent to get good deals, right? And we obviously know that's not true, but that's the public perception.